Hey there everyone, welcome to another of my mental health videos. Now in my last video I mentioned briefly on the first time I met Tony on Selimi for my initial clarity consultation in London, and how Tony said one sentence to me, and that sentence just completely blew me away, blew my mind, but it also totally changed my life. I learned more from that one sentence than I did in the 20 years I went through the mental health system about my mental health illnesses and my addictions, whether it was my addiction to alcohol or cocaine. So when I initially met Tony in London for my clarity consultation, it was a very challenging experience. It wasn't like sitting with a psychologist or a psychiatrist who may try to comfort you in your times of pain. This was a very different experience, very challenging, as I've said. Tony woke me up to a lot of things straight away. I mean, within the first 10 minutes, 10 seconds actually, he called me an idiot when I mentioned to him some of the things that I'd been doing in my life. And in that moment when he said that, although it wasn't what I was expecting to hear, internally it led me to self-reflect, and I realised he was completely correct and that I had been an idiot a great many times in my life. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about that one sentence and how I was able to apply it, but apply it specifically to my alcoholism. So as I was going through my consultation with Tony, he said this sentence to me, and what he said is, what you value is what experiences you create in your life. Now, I'd never heard that before. I wasn't even aware of my values before, or my value system, until I began working with Tony, and I certainly wasn't aware of how my values were creating my experiences in my life. Now, after my consultation with Tony finished, I left him and I went back down onto the tube in London. I was going elsewhere, and as I was sat on that tube train, the experience I was feeling was one of complete bewilderment, but also intrigue. Now, what I mean is, anytime I had been seeing psychologists or psychiatrists previously within the NHS, I always felt that I left them bewildered, that my illnesses were way beyond their expertise. But this time, I was the one that was left feeling bewildered. But a few things came to me on that tube journey, which lasted about 30 minutes. And it was in relation to this, what you value is what experiences you create. And Tony made me realise why I valued alcohol. He woke me up to it. He never went into it in depth with me. On this tube journey, I began to realise more and more why I valued alcohol. And for me, because I was completely asleep to this, I wasn't even aware that I was self-medicating. At this time, I actually thought I was the only person in the world with OCD. I was the only person going through these experiences that I was going through, because I felt so alone, as so many mental health sufferers do. But as I applied this to myself, I realised that I valued alcohol because it was a pain relief. But more specifically for my OCD, it elevated or alleviated the thoughts, the intrusive thoughts I was having of harming people. When I was drinking, I didn't have these thoughts. They disappeared. And I placed a value on that because I wanted a break from having these thoughts constantly all day long. And these thoughts would even come into me when I was sleeping. They would disturb my sleep 3-4 times a night. So I started looking at this. What I value is what I create, or what experiences I create. And I thought, so I value alcohol because it's a pain relief. I also value it because it alleviates these thoughts from my mind. They go away. And I'd never thought on my alcoholism like that before. A lot of people seen me drunk and they just classed me as a drunk or an alcoholic, or even a waste of space. They didn't actually realise or know what I was going through internally, because I would never speak about it with anyone. And then I started looking deeper into this, what I values, what experiences I create, and it went beyond my alcoholism. It went into other things in my life. But I'm not going to go into that today. So if you're someone who's creating these experiences in your life and you were unaware of why, or of why you valued these experiences, because not everything we value is good for us. My alcoholism certainly wasn't good for me. I went through detox about 12 to 14 times, home detoxes, hospital detox. So they weren't good for me, but I valued them. I just didn't have any idea why until Tony awakened it to me, or awakened it from within me. And I spent all of that night after that initial clarity consultation thinking on that, and things really started to make sense then. So as I say, if you're someone who's looking to get clarity on why you're experiencing the life experience you are, and why it can be down to your values, because your values create your life experiences, my recommendation, as always, is go over to Tony's website, check out everything on there, see how he can help you, or contact him direct via his PA, Alma, at info@tonyselimi.com, and see why you're creating this life and why you're putting value on it for yourself.